afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Allen, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Sedona Public Library. And on behalf of the board, we are delighted to see so many of you here today. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest, who is, as you know, Janelle Molony, who's an award-winning author and a journalistic member of the Western Writers of America and Oregon California Trails Association. That's a long phrase, but we are delighted you are here. She also has a number of YouTube series called Women of Wyoming, Then and Now. Here today for what I know will be a wonderful program is Janelle Molony.
Thank you, Linda. Today, I will not take you on a tour of the Oregon Trail. Today, I'm going to tell you all the stuff that other historians seem to forget about or don't talk about. And so we're going to experience what it was like to be on the trail 160 years ago in a wheelchair. So I'm going to back up to Sarah. She, besides pioneering in Michigan, she ends up becoming a pioneer settler in Iowa and California. So she has quite a reputation for living in unincorporated virgin forest in tents and log cabins. Not exactly what she thought she was going to get herself into as a highly talented, college-educated pianoforte mistress, right? And one of those journeys is in a diary that I've since published. And it was photographed by my colleague, Nicholas Cataldo, the president of the San Bernardino Historical Society. So every picture is Nick's picture. So back to Grandpa Rousseau. He is a country physician. Does anyone know what that means? Okay, so you have an idea?
I was going to say he's the only doctor in a whole area.
For sure. He might be one of two, because the other doctor might be the dentist / butcher if you couldn't get him. And he rides around on his horse to visit the patients. He can treat anything and everything. That doesn't mean he knows how, but he's the only guy that could, other than castor oil, right? Well, after 20 years of being in the business of curing anyone from anything, there was one thing that the doctor could not fix, and that was his own wife's rheumatism. And if anyone here has been to the Midwest, if you have arthritis, that's not fun. But she had pains in her back, hips, down her legs. She could not stand on her own anymore, and she was wheelchair bound by 1860s. So this is what a wheelchair may have looked like back then. Wicker, if you can imagine. How long would you like to sit in that? So he was thinking, what are we going to do? I'm a doctor that can't help my wife. But there was one thing he could do, and that was to go west. And that was the climate cure, right? Like tuberculosis, warm, dry air. So they packed up in 64. They're taking with them 2 vehicles. They do load up everything they can possibly fit in the traditional prairie schooner, named like a boat because it had these big white sails. And I don't know where her piano went. I don't know if she brought it. But if she brought it, it would have gone in that. That would have been the moving van. And then they brought, I believe, a barouche landau, which is highly impractical. Why would you do that? So the barouche landau carriage opens like a clamshell or like a convertible car, right? And I believe that would have been the vehicle that she continually refers to as my carriage on the trail. Primarily, I think, because it could accommodate the wheelchair. Either if they had to get her up and into the carriage, they could open it up and just sort of load her in. I believe the chair would sit on the rumble seat on the back, kind of like how we have wheelchairs on the back of our cars today. So that would have been very unusual for people to see on the trail and impractical. And of course, it falls apart.